Well, hey, I'm super pumped and excited to have you on here. I've been like thinking about this all week,
Yeah.
getting you on the show. And this is really, it's only the second episode or third episode actually of the show. And you're going to be the first guest on the show. So, and there's a reason for that. I wanted to make sure that you were one of the first ones. Oh, you hear that? That's my dog. He's
Yeah.
digging in the corner. Hey, you put that. Yeah, I'll have to edit that part out. You want to see him?
Yeah.
Look at this sweet guy.
I don't think I've ever seen. What a cute little fella.
Yeah, he's only like 15 weeks old,
Awesome.
but he's growing like a weed.
Yeah.
Growing like a weed. And the wife's not home, so I have to
Gotcha.
watch him.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so excited to have you on. And there's a reason that you're, the first guest that I brought on this show. One of the main reasons for this show is bringing on experts in these different fields of areas of interest of mine that I want to master. And that's one of the main things because, I want to teach everybody who's watching and I want to share this content with everybody. But really, I want to learn how to implement these things for myself. So this is, really just conversation between me and you on like you teaching me how to do these things because I'm
Yeah.
really, really excited to learn this. And I've studied a lot about discipline and a lot about I probably followed a lot of the guys that you followed and done some different things, but I want to hear your take on discipline and like on all these things. I have some questions that I wrote down. Want to ask you and kind of get your opinion, and then yeah, we can go from there. But I'm super excited to have you on, brother.
Absolutely, man. And I appreciate you having me on and taking some time out of your day to go through this and give something of value to your listeners and viewers watching. So I'm all ears and here to help.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know they're going to get something out of it, just like I'm going to get something out of it. So really, really excited. But everybody, if you do not know Derek McMonagle, he is an awesome entrepreneur. Just started a business that's taking off. It's doing amazing. He is a coach of discipline, and he also helps entrepreneurs and business people of all types, salespeople. He helps them to gain the discipline that they need to execute on their goals. That's really one of Derek's main attributes. And I know Derek, we go way back. We used to work together with a company. We were doing sales together. And that's how I know Derek is extremely disciplined. He'd make more calls than me. He'd do everything better than I was doing it. And I was like, Derek, how are you doing this stuff? Like what? And you always see that whiteboard behind him. He always had that like filled up with quotes and things. And Derek is just awesome at what he does. He's so consistent, he's so persistent, and that's why I wanted to bring him on to add value to me and to add value to you as the listener. But yeah, Derek, go ahead and tell your story about like how you got into discipline and how you got into creating this coaching business.
Absolutely, man. And Chad, I appreciate the introduction. It was very kind to you. It's always nice getting some kind words around the discipline field. But yeah, so for those who don't know, like Chad mentioned, my name is Derek McMonagle, 24-year-old entrepreneur, born and raised in Pittsburgh, living out in Phoenix now and working remotely from home. And discipline for me, it was something that came into my life. I would say probably when I was about 20 years old, and I was actually introduced to a Navy SEAL named Jocko Willink through a book called Extreme Ownership. One of my professors at Waynesburg University, she actually gave me the book and told me that I would really enjoy it. And I read it and I fell in love with it. And since that moment, I became obsessed with learning how to become more disciplined and how I could just apply discipline in every aspect of my life. And initially, it really started in the gym for me. I was a night owl. I was, going to the gym at midnight, 1 in the morning, and staying up until 4 or 5, 6 in the morning, staying up and sleeping in until 12 or 1. And I knew there was a better way. And there was an individual that was showing up to the gym at like 3:30 in the morning. He was starting his day at 3:30 in the morning. And I started to have a mental and like subconscious competition with him that he didn't even know about. I'm like, I'm going to start being this guy to the gym. And I literally changed my mindset around it from Jocko Willink and kind of studying Navy SEALs and, why their mindset is different. Because we look at all these different types of people and we think there's something special about me or something special about you or something special about Jocko. But at the end of the day, it just their mindset and their mentality and how they approach things, and kind of just that never quit attitude and always just pushing yourself and challenging yourself. And that's what I started doing. It started with the gym, and then it rolled over to my faith, it rolled over to business, it rolled over to sales, friendships, relationships. And then in the pandemic, whenever we were working together at the Airbnb property management company, once that shut down and I was unemployed for the first time in my life for a long period, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to start applying to some other startups. And I wasn't really able to find anything I was passionate about. And then the summer came around, and I actually had started a sports marketing company. And I think it was God telling me that He didn't want me to get into that right away, and He wanted to take me down a different avenue, because the pandemic stopped that from really kind of taking off, because I was looking to get certified as a FIBA agent overseas and wanted to start representing overseas basketball players. But they shut down every application possible and shut down every avenue for me to really start that. So I was in a position like, well, I still haven't been able to find a job. I've had people reach out to me about jobs, but it's not something I wanted to do. And I didn't want to go to a job where I hated what I was doing, regardless of the pay. And I'm an entrepreneur at heart, just like yourself. And I figured, what can I do that I would wake up each and every morning, be passionate about, and really break into a new industry that I know nothing about, and just be a beginner again. And I remember a conversation I had with an individual back at the Phoenix Suns when I worked there in a sales capacity right after college. And I remember I had sent these morning motivational videos at 3:30, 4 a.m. to all my coworkers every single day, and they loved it. And it was just something fun that I did and put up on my Instagram stories, of just screaming my lungs at 4 a.m. and putting it on Instagram. And somebody told me, just from that and just talking to them about motivation and discipline in general. And I remember somebody saying, like, I would really pay you to do this. And that kind of like, it was a light bulb that went off for me. I'm like, that's really interesting. Okay, how can I start a business focused around something that I love, that I just do on a daily basis, that, in a sense, I cracked the code on? And granted, I don't think I'm the ultimate expert in discipline, but I think I have a really good grasp on what it means to be disciplined and how you could discipline yourselves in many different areas. And that was kind of the light bulb for me, that I knew, I'm like, let me try and start a business around this. And where the Dmacc method came from, Dmacc just, kind of being initials or a nickname that some people use for me. It was actually the name of a charity basketball tournament that I'd started a few years prior as well too. And I wanted to start building my brand and just these businesses around that specific name in Dmacc, and then method, adding that on. It was just kind of like, it was kind of like my way. This is how I figure were the best ways for you to create discipline and accountability. And the Dmacc Method, Elite Discipline Coaching LLC, was born from that. And it's been an amazing ride since July. I started it in the middle of a pandemic, which I knew was either going to be a big success because there's a lot of people that needed it, or I knew I was going to fall flat on my face and I might be looking for another job when I was broke in 6 months. And luckily, with help from the man above and just working extremely hard, I've been extremely blessed to be in the position I am today, to have about 15 clients that I'm currently working with in many different fields, like you had mentioned earlier, in business and sales. I work with former coworkers, CEOs of some startups. So I work with people in a bunch of different fields, which is really awesome. And we just expanded into 4 different countries, which is cool, here in the US and in
Oh my gosh.
Canada, and then also in Japan, and then Taiwan as well too. So
That's awesome.
it's been really cool to see the growth and seeing how people have been finding me, everything as well. But yeah, that's just a little bit about kind of how I got started in discipline, and kind of how the company came.
Yeah, you know what? That was going to be one of my next questions, actually, is the DMAC method, because I know you've talked about it before. I've heard me and you talked a little bit about it privately before. But if you could kind of share, I guess, your your philosophies for
Yeah,
the DMAC method. What is the DMAC method, and why should people pay attention to it over all the other stuff that's out there?
absolutely. So some people ask me, like what type of coach are you, and like what it is that you do. And like, I tell people I'm kind of a life coach, but I'm more focused on discipline. And I kind of like boiled it down to, like, I'm a lifestyle coach that helps individuals build discipline and accountability in their lives. And I saw an industry because I initially seeked out a coach as well to help me build my business and just to help me in a field I've never been in before. And I saw something that was really scary right away. And it was that this industry was saturated with individuals that were selling high ticket services for a
Wait,
very
Derek,
little
Derek,
amount.
Derek, hold on a second. You said you're a coach, but you got a coach to coach you. Everybody
Yeah.
listen to that. Everybody needs a coach. Michael Jordan needed a coach. All of the best players, the best entrepreneurs, the best people, they have mentors. coaches, the same thing. You need somebody to push you to that next level. And I definitely think that's where I'm at in my career, in wherever I'm at in my life, in each area. I need a coach. And that just like hit a hit a nerve with me, that you said you got a coach even though you are a coach. That's really
Yeah.
cool. But go ahead. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
and to harp on that a little bit more as well too, that was something that a lot of people reached out to me about as well too, and they asked, how do you stay accountable day? Like, who's keeping you accountable and who's helping you and all these different things? Because it's not just me. Like, and like I mentioned initially, like I had hired a coach, and it wasn't something that was cheap, and I had saw it through research, and then just reaching out to other coaches in terms of learning, what are their product offerings, like what are their service options, like what are people charging, and like how do I set up my pricing model without ripping people off, but really make a living for myself and also provide a ton of value also. Because if you do your research out there outside of maybe any military personnel or any former military personnel, like it's hard to find somebody who focuses on strict like self-discipline coaching. So I found myself in a very niche market where there's not really anybody I could follow suit. I can't copy anybody's pricing or anything like that, so I had to kind of create it all from scratch. And seeing all these different life coaches, I've seen them charge $1,000 for a 60-minute call, or just $15,000 for 2 months of coaching. I was like, that's absolutely ridiculous. And I tell people all the time, there isn't any type of value that I could offer you in the 20 to 30 minutes that we're talking that's going to change your life. Because when it comes to discipline, that's why I have like a 3 month minimum with my larger plan, because I don't believe you could build long lasting discipline in any shorter time than that. So for me, I figure out, okay, what is a average amount that I could charge for my service, what I believe I'm worth, and then starting out like, hey, I'm a brand new coach, so I'm still learning along the way as well. So I don't want to charge an arm and a leg for my services, but I still want to be able to take care of my bills, do this and that. Because at the end of the day, I want to be a servant leader. I don't want to be someone that's a billionaire running $1 billion enterprise. I just want to, make a living for myself, for my family, give back to the community, and still help people on a bigger scale. So that's really where I started to build my philosophy around it. And there's really 4 pillars that I built my company around, and it's honesty. I am always honest with any clients that I work with on the initial call, and I ask them to do the same with me when they're working with me or when they're not, even if it's just an initial call. The second is transparency as well. I'm always going to be transparent with everybody I talk to. If this is going to be a good fit, if it's not going to be a good fit, like I'm not just going to take your money and accept your debit card payment just because I want to make money. If it's truly not going to be a good fit and I see that initially, I'm not going to work with you, because there's plenty of other coaches that could help you, because I might not be able to help you. And then it's punctuality. For me, I'm showing up early to every meeting. And if you're not willing to show up early or on time for something, it tells me that you're not willing to really put in the maximum effort to become the best version of yourself. So those 3 things right there are like the main 3 pillars. And then the last one is ownership. And it's something that I kind of coined from Jocko as well, too, because he talks about extreme ownership. And for me, as a servant leader and someone that is an entrepreneur running his own company as well, I want to be able to take extreme ownership of everything in my world, whether it's something some of my teammates did wrong. I want to be able to take hold of that, because that's me not being a good leader. I should have taught them better. And if I taught them better, they wouldn't have made that mistake. And I try to do that with all my clients as well, too. But at the end of the day, there has to be a 50-50 in terms of you have to meet me halfway as well. I could tell you all these amazing things. I can motivate you to get up off the couch and start applying discipline to your life. But at the end of the day, you have to meet me halfway as well. Because if I'm not working with you in person, there's nothing I could do to physically get you up. You have to say, like, hey, I want to make a conscious effort to be better today. Derek is going to be the vehicle I use to help hold accountable and help me build that discipline. And after 3 months of working with him, then I'm going to be ready to go. And I tell people all the time as well, and it really blows their minds, especially in the business world. And I don't think a lot of other life coaches like it as well. But I have a philosophy where if I work with a client for 3 months in my one-on-one full service program, I never want to see that client again. And it's not because I don't want to work with them. It's not because I don't want to make money. It's because if I do my job properly and they do what they're supposed to do, there's absolutely no reason we should have to work together again, because I helped you build that discipline, and it's up to you to keep it up now. And I call it really building the house. So the first month I work with somebody, I call it building a foundation. We're laying the bricks, laying the cement, maybe putting up some walls here and there, but we're building a really strong foundation. Month 2, it's, us putting up the walls a little bit more. We're getting the piping in, doing all the plumbing and all the, interior stuff. And then month 3 is us really doing, okay, let's get the new couches and the new TVs and really, kind of trick out the interior design of the place. And at that point, unless a natural disaster, which I call a life event, hits, you lose a family member, something really happens, you have a serious injury, there's absolutely no reason you should reach back out to me unless a natural disaster takes down the house or just rips some siding off. There's no reason you should have to come back to me.
Wow.
So
Well, you know what? That just shows the quality of your coaching and what you believe in yourself.
yeah,
Obviously, you believe that you can get somebody to where they want to go, because you don't think it's going to take more than 3 months. And I agree with you. I think, if somebody's doing their job, they should be able to get it done efficiently, and that's awesome. That's really awesome. And going back to those pillars, punctuality. I that's one that I've struggled with before, but I know that you seem to not struggle with it. I see your Instagram posts every day, 3:59, 3:58, 4 o'clock. You get up early every single day. And that is something that I have always had an issue with. And I know that many, many people are like me. They have a problem waking up early. And it's just something, I don't know if it's something that when we wake up, we're saying to ourselves that's making us just want to hit the snooze button, or what it is. But I think this is one of the biggest areas where I would want to use discipline in my life, is to start my day. And if you could give us, I guess, your tips and what changed you from sleeping in, hitting the snooze button, to being the 4 a.m. Derek who takes a picture every day showing people that he's getting up and that you're getting after it. You show the pictures of you sweating and getting after it first thing in the morning, working out, doing your thing. So many people, this would enhance their lives so much. Can you give us some tips on how you did that?
yeah. So first and foremost, it always comes down to how strong your why is for a specific
I'm
goal.
taking notes, guys. Everybody, get out your notepad, get a pen, take notes, because this is going to be some really valuable information. If you take anything from this Zoom call, from this interview, please write this down. It's going to be
Yeah.
awesome.
It's really a three-step process that I put together. So it's really starting with strengthening your why. It's then prioritizing on your goals and the actions that you want to take, and then it's executing. So first off, going back to the why, and a lot of people really overlook this, or they think they have a strong why, but it's really not as strong as they think, and that's why it's easy for them to hit
Hmm.
snooze. It's easy for you to
Yeah.
stay in your warm bed whenever it's 25 degrees in Pittsburgh and Ohio and Minnesota, wherever you may be. It's a little bit easier for me because I'm in Phoenix right now, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to that why. And I tell people, not the why of your life. Like everybody could have a really strong purpose of why they do things and why they're here on this earth. But at the end of the day, it comes down to a strong why behind everything you do. Like I tell people, like when it comes to waking up early at 4 a.m. for myself, when it comes to why do I track my macros, why do I track my micronutrients, why do I drink a gallon and a half of water every single day, why do I listen to a podcast, why do I listen to a sermon from a favorite priest of mine in the morning, why do I do all these things? Like they're all cool things and they all equal personal development. But what is your strong why behind each and every one of them? And granted, my why wasn't that strong when I initially started waking up early. It was me competing against another guy, and that he didn't even know about it. Like there was a guy in the gym at 3:30, and I happened to be in there from the night before that early, finishing up a workout, and he was just starting his day. And I'm like, I'm not going to let this guy beat me in the gym anymore. And it was a selfish reason on mine that I just wanted to compete against him. And then it became at that point just a mental battle for myself. How can I continue to get better each and every day? And how early can I actually wake up and not sacrifice my sleep? Or even at that time, I didn't really care about my sleep at all. I care a little bit more about my recovery now because I know how important it is. But at the end of the day, it's understanding like how can I challenge myself each and every day? And by doing X, Y, and Z, and by seeing how much time I had left in the mornings to do the things that I love that I didn't have room to do at the end of the day, that's really what pushed me. And it started even more when I had my first job out of corporate America. I was working from 7 in the morning to some nights 7 at night, so a 12-hour workday, and then I had to be in bed at 8:30. So from the time that I got home, I had about an hour to do anything that I loved, which was at that point it was just eating dinner, then I was going to bed, and I
Yeah,
realized like
that's
there's
not time for much.
yeah, and then I realized like there's got to be a better way for this. There's so many
Hmm.
things that I'm not doing in my life. Like if I'm not going to church, if I'm not spending that time with God and my faith, that's a high priority for myself, but I'm not treating it like it right now. My fitness,
Yeah.
it's a high priority, but I'm not treating it like right now. And I'm like, okay, let me figure out what are the high and medium priority action items I have in my life. How can I fit those in my schedule? Because I have a lot of low priority ones that I set are low that I'm treating like high that I'm making time for, but not my high and medium priority. So I decided I just put my foot down. I'm like, these are goals that I have to accomplish. I have to find time for them. How can I do that? I'm going to make up for that on the front end of my day. So when I was working at the Suns, I started waking up at 3:30 every day, had a 30-minute commute to the gym every single morning. I was getting my workout in, and I wasn't even listening to music while I was at the gym. I would put on a podcast or a motivational compilation that just continued to drill in my brain anything motivation, inspiration, and discipline related. And then after that, I'd be having my morning coffee, I'd be reading, I'd be journaling and getting ready for the day ahead. And like I said, having that time in the morning for a sermon or just prayer and spending that time with the Lord, like doing all those things, I accomplished 4 or 5 of my goals in the morning before I even stepped into the office. And for me, that's when I really became obsessive with my daily routine. So at the end of the day, for everyone, it just comes down to understanding what your why is around each activity, not just your main one in life, but understand, why do you wake up early? Why do you go to the gym? And not just, I go to the gym to look and feel better. That's not a strong enough why for you to do it day in and day out. How about the days you wake up and you're just sore from doing 300 push-ups the day before? How about, whenever you're just, feeling sick, but you could go to the gym and sweat it out a little bit. On all those days, understanding, how can I strengthen my why and understand that it's a really strong why? How do I prioritize and execute? And then how do I make this happen? And at the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's what it came down to me, is that 3-step process. And I use it day in and day out. And the last external thing that really helped me, Joe Rogan has a cool podcast episode where he talks about, he's like, what if you actually had a film crew that was following you around and was just basically filming your life story? And if you had someone there filming you when you woke up, when you go to bed, and throughout your day, would you like the person that you saw, or would you be just appalled of, you're not doing the work and you're lazy? And like for me, I had a screensaver on my phone for the longest time that said whenever I woke up, it was like, it's like, you're live. And it was kind of like a red blinking light, like as like a camera was live, like watching me. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
that's
not just here
cool.
performing for myself, I'm here performing for other. And now for me, my why is even bigger because I do this for a living. Discipline is my job now. And if the cost of me not waking up and getting after it is myself doing a disservice to my clients, and I can't let that happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, so I got a lot from that, and one of the main things that I noticed that maybe I'm not doing that I once did was kind of making it a competition. You said like you wanted to compete almost with the other guy in the gym, getting there before him, outworking him. And I know from my collegiate career in football that competition was something that always drove me, and something that I think all of us as humans want some sort of challenge, so that challenge just, there's something attractive about being challenged. There's something that makes you want to go after it when you're challenged or when you are competing against somebody. And I think after I got done playing football, it gets easy because you're not going up against anybody anymore. It's yourself. So I think making it into a competition with yourself is something that could be very valuable. Compete with yourself, or get a partner and compete with them. Like, I think one of the things that would probably help me most is competing with an accountability buddy, whether that be you, Derek, or somebody else. Having a competition, a fun competition, or just challenging each other to do certain things that are going to, better ourselves. I think that's something that I took away that I was not implementing into my daily routine. But that's awesome. And yeah, your why, it's very, it's everywhere on the internet. Everyone says, "What's your why? What's your why?" But if you're not constantly reminding yourself of what it is and really ingraining that into everything that you do, then it's not going to be strong enough, and you're not going to get up, or you're not going to go work out. You're not going to do whatever you need to do because you're not focusing on the reasons why you're doing it. One of the guys that I follow, I'm sure you've all heard of him, is Tony Robbins, and his rapid planning method. And it's all about every single task has the why with it. Why are you doing this task? What's the bigger picture for this little teeny task? How does that tie into your big goal, the result where you want to go? And it really gives meaning, the keyword meaning, behind every little thing that you're doing. So I think that's awesome, Derek. That's
Yeah,
so
and
cool.
I have an initial form I send to a bunch of my clients where it's kind of set up to pigeonhole my clients whenever they feel like not going after their goals or they feel like quitting, because I'll have a in my accountability partner program, we'll have a weekly call set up, and they'll tell me like, hey, I didn't accomplish this, I didn't accomplish this, I didn't accomplish this. And I don't get mad or anything like that, but I go back to the initial form that they filled out that basically has their why around every goal that they wanted to accomplish. And we look at them like, well, hey John, you said that you wanted to accomplish a goal here because of this. What really stood in your way because of, like, was your why not that strong whenever you filled out this form initially? Like, what changed there? And they realized, like, man, like, I just sucked this week and I just need to be better. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to that, like, you just being honest with yourself. Because like I said, going back to my pills, like, I'm always going to be honest with you, and I tell yourself to be honest with me as well. And at the end of the day, it's not about just becoming a different person overnight. I always tell people it's about becoming 0.0001% better, because if you don't, you could get 2 to 3% worse daily, and you don't want that to happen. So it's just about making small adjustments each and every day. It's not a perfect process. You're not going to be perfect. I'm not going to be perfect, but it's just about how can I be a better version of Derek, the discipline coach, than I was yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. I watched a video the other day from one of the top experts um, in the industry, not exactly on discipline, but um on how our brains work and how we can take advantage of the wiring in our brains, the different parts of our brain, to get ourselves to do the right things. And it was so interesting how, we all are goal oriented people. Probably the people watching this are. You want a result in your life. You want to get somewhere, you want to go somewhere, you want to have the thing, drive the car, have the house, whatever it is. Have $1 million in your bank account. It could be any goal. But if you're not enjoying the process or rewarding yourself along the way, it becomes harder and harder to be disciplined. Is what he was saying, and it was really interesting, because he was talking about dopamine. One of the main chemicals in our brain, that's for pleasure, and he set up an internal reward system where every time he would do something that he should be doing to get to his goal, he would reward himself. So every single time he's building up, getting those dopamine hits every single time he's doing the right thing, instead of getting that burnout effect where you're doing all these things and you're hating doing them, and then you finally get your goal and yes, it's awesome, and then you're depressed because it's gone. The
Yeah.
feeling's gone. But building it up along the way, I think that's a really cool way to be disciplined as well. Is you're excited, you're looking forward to doing the things because you're rewarding yourself in one way or the other. Whether that be giving yourself a little gold star. Over in the corner of my office here, I have a whiteboard that I just started doing this. And this is the health, wealth, and wisdom show. So I have health, wealth, and wisdom categories. And anytime I do something in one of those three areas, I will mark, create a bar. It's like a bar graph. And once I get up to 15, I go to the next level. So I kind of treat it like a video game, because I used to play Madden and all the video games where you create the creative players. And, you always want the guy that's 99 everything and he's awesome. And it's so fun playing with him. Well, I know that always gave me a dopamine hit in my brain because it was fun doing that. So almost like gamifying your life in a way, um, can really, I guess, help with discipline. It's really helped me to really, I guess, crush my task list every single day. But yeah, that's something that I've been doing, and really something that I guess you've mentioned before when we spoke privately. So yeah, really, really cool. But Derek, I know we've been talking for a while. I'm sure everybody is just their notebooks are full with content right now. But I want to ask you one more question, and we might have already mentioned it, we may not have. But what is the big secret to being disciplined, if there
Yeah.
is a big secret?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. There's not necessarily one magic answer that I could give you that is going to cure self discipline for everybody in the world, because that's what a lot of people ask me. There's a lot of people that want to lose weight. There's a lot of people that want to start drinking more water every single day. There's a lot of people that want to be more successful in their job. There's a lot of people that want to convert from a night out to an early morning wake up crew, part of what I do. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to being consistent with it. And like, if you add up everything else that we've talked about today in terms of, strengthening your why, prioritizing what's most important in your life, and then executing on that, and then being consistent with it. You can't build discipline without consistency. And that's why I have a minimum in my one-on-one coaching program, why I have a minimum of a 3-month time that I work with somebody. Because like I said, I don't believe that we could build long lasting discipline in any less time than that. Sure, you could find secret hacks and secret trips and everything that I could give you along the way that could kind of trick your mind here and there of how to build discipline. But at the end of the day, to build long lasting discipline, it has to be consistency. For me, I'm on a 6-month fitness journey right now in terms of shedding body fat and just tracking my macros, micronutrients, and my water consumption. And it's 6 months. Like, 6 months to build that. And for me, I'm disciplined where I'm at with that journey already. But I know for me to see long lasting results, it's not a 10-day weight loss trick where you do 100 sit-ups a day and you drink a green smoothie and you lose the weight. It's all about being consistent. It's about eating healthy each and every day. And like I said, rewarding yourself in a month. Like, I could have a ice cream bar, whatever that is, just to treat myself. If it fits my macros and it's still in my calorie deficit, that's fantastic. It's all about balance in your life as well too. And granted, for me, I'm not great at balance sometimes, and I'm either 100% on or I'm 100% off. So I'm really full focused on discipline right now. I cut out all alcohol. I love smoking cigars. I cut out all cigars, and I'm straight focused on personal development for the next 6 months, and my faith, my business, just my finances, my family and relationships, and just personal development and discipline all over. So it really just boils down to consistency, if that is the magic answer that a lot of people look for. And it's just a matter of fact of, how do I wake up each and every day and give it my all and try to be better each and every day and just be consistent with it. I think you're on mute, Chad.
I was on mute, but I was going to say, definitely heard you say the word consistency a
Yeah.
lot, and a word that pops into my mind is persistence. Continually doing the thing that you need to do, whether you feel like it or not. But obviously, it's easier to do the thing um, if you feel like doing the thing. And I guess that's where that dopamine thing comes in, of rewarding
Yeah.
yourself for doing those little things instead of hating them. But what would you tell somebody who, they say, okay, I get it, Derek, consistency is the key, I need to be persistent, I just need to do it every day. And then they ask, how? How do I do this? Is it through visualization, visualizing yourself doing? Is it through self-talk? Do you say any magic words to yourself in the moment to get yourself to do the things? I guess that's one of the main questions that people are going to be asking themselves, is how do we be consistent? How do we be persistent? What tactics do you use, or do you use with your clients?
Yeah, so that's another great question, and another one that probably doesn't have like one specific answer. And there's a lot of, like I
Hmm.
mentioned, tips and tricks that you can use to get started to keep you going. Because at the end of the day, like, if I told you, hey, one of my goals right now is to be an awesome artist, and I want to paint a really cool picture of Ben Roethlisberger by the end of the month. I hate art. I'm awful at art. It's just not something that I'm good at, and I'm just not going to stick to it. Or like, even learning a new language for me right now, like, it would be cool to speak fluent Spanish, but guess what? Why would I need to speak fluent Spanish right now? Like, am I going to Spain for 3 months abroad? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not going to have any motivation to do that. They're cool goals, but I'm self-aware in what I'm trying to go after right now. Whereas if you tell somebody, or somebody tells me that, hey, I want to lose 30 pounds in 10 days, I'll first off say, hey, you're not going to lose 30 pounds in 10 days, because it just doesn't happen like that. If you lose a pound or two per week, which is the best way to lose it and keep the weight off, here's the
Mhm.
process we have to go down. Here are the macros and calories we have to follow for you to be in a deficit. Here's a plan. Now, how do we stick to that plan? Okay, well, tell me, why do you want to lose weight in the first place? Why do you want to drop this body fat percentage? Why do you want to change your lifestyle around? Is it because your dad had heart disease and he had a heart attack early, and you want to prevent that for your future family and your future kids? Is it because you're smoking right now, you want to stop smoking, want to have healthier lifestyle? Those are really strong reasons to stay consistent along the way. So at the end of the day, it's a matter of being self-aware, understanding what are the goals that I'm trying to go after right now. Is my why really strong enough to be consistent with it? Because like I said, it really all does come back to that, without using that kind of just
Yeah.
a normal response. But at the end of the day, like, if your why really is strong enough, it's going to get easier, but it's never going to be extremely easy to be self-disciplined. Like, so many people tell me, they're like, how do you wait? You've been doing this for so many years now. Like, it's got to be super simple for you. It's not. It's
Yeah.
as I would argue that it's harder for me now. Like, whenever I'm comfortable in my bed, and I've been doing it for years now, you know how easy it is for me just to hit snooze, go back to bed, and not get after it.
Oh
It's the
yeah.
easiest decision we can make in our lives to not do anything. And for me, once my feet hit that floor, I'm going after it because I know I have clients that I have to put on for. If I don't put out, then I'm doing them a disservice because if I'm not at my best, I can't be at my best for them, which means I'm doing a complete disservice to them. So, like,
Yeah.
that's my why. That's what keeps me consistent with everything else in my life. And for other people that are looking at how do I do it? How do I stay consistent? It's a matter of figuring out, okay, is my why actually strong enough? Not just telling yourself, yeah, I have a strong why. Really think about it, like dive deep into it. Like I mentioned, like not just lose weight because you want to lose weight and you want to drop a few pounds. Really understand what is it subconsciously in your mind that makes you want to lose that weight and wants to get you back into the gym. And then I could promise you that why is going to keep you going consistently for a little bit. And like I said, if other people need help along the way, that's why I'm here as well too, because I have one of my clients. He's not necessarily someone that wants to build long-term self-discipline in his life. He is an entrepreneur and freelancer from California, and he does copyright for a living. And I keep him accountable towards sending emails each and every day and growing his business and to, moving out of his parents' house and moving out on his own. And he's like, I just want you there to keep me on my shit. I want you to keep track of everything that I'm doing and make sure I'm sending these emails, make sure I'm doing all this cold outreach. And I'm necessarily not trying to build these habits so I could do it myself. Like, I want you, and like that's fine. Like that, I could be here for that as well too. But at the end of the day, like outside of my accountability partner program, I want people to come into that and leave being a more disciplined person. But in my accountability partner program, like it's the more affordable of my programs. It's something that people can afford on a monthly basis, just to have someone there to give them a little kick in the butt when they need it and to hold them accountable to their small goals that they're
Yeah.
trying to obtain. So, like I said, everybody just needs a little
Absolutely.
accountability here and there.
You know what? I think I found out one of the main part of the big secret, because you said consistency, and when I asked you how do people do that, you said the why, and then you kept saying the word reasons. So I remember learning about this before. You have to have more reasons to do something than reasons not to do something. So how do you create a stronger why? You create a stronger why by having enough powerful reasons that you think about all the time. And that's what motivates you.
Yeah.
That's what gets you up. That's what gets you going. That's just like, I was in one of the books I read. I've read a lot of books in the past year, so I'm trying to remember what it was. But this dad, this guy wanted to make $1 million a year, and he was a salesman, and nothing could motivate him. He knew he wanted to do it, and the guy was asking him like, "What motivates you to do this?" And like, "What can I get you? What can I tell you to motivate you to do this?" And he kept asking these different questions, and he finally hit the chord when he talked about his daughter. And his daughter was going to college, and his main goal was for her to come out debt free out of college, because she was going to a very expensive college that cost over $100,000 a year, and that was his why. And he hit that goal because he focused on that. He focused on his daughter, and seeing that end goal of him being able to pay off the last college bill for her. And your why could be whatever. That doesn't have to motivate you. Whatever motivates you. And that's, it's your reasons, it's your why. But once you figure out what that is, focus on it. Focus on your why and create more reasons. Create more reasons to do the things that you need to do. Whether that be get in shape, make more money,
Yeah.
get closer to God,
Yeah.
improve your faith, whatever it is, you need to focus on it and
Yeah.
create more reasons for that.
Let me ask you, Chad, why did you start this show?
Oh man, he's putting me on the spot. Yeah. So why did I start this show? I started this show. My dog's biting my foot. Hold on. Get out of here. All right, I'm back. I'm telling you, he's a stinker, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, why did I start this show? That's a great question, man. You put me right on the spot. I started this show because I am on a journey to mastering myself, to becoming the best version of myself, to really maximizing my potential. I know God created me to be somebody special, and I want to get there. That is my main goal. It's to really bring out the absolute best version of myself. And I have a true belief that we all have different versions of ourselves. We can all, you've heard of like multiple personality people who, they have so many different personalities, and it's a disorder. But you can really be anybody you want to be. And I'm really interested in actors and how they can just flick a switch and be anybody. And it's just so cool, and we can do that in our own lives. You don't have to be the you that you have been being. And that is the main reason I'm starting the show, is because I want to interview people like you who are going to bring out the best in me, and then people can follow me on this journey and become the best versions of themselves while I'm becoming the best version of myself. And we can all be, change the world. That's how you change the world, is being the best version of yourself.
And you just gave me a person A response versus a person B. Person A just gave the response you did, and person B said, "Oh, I wanted to start the show just because I wanted to talk to some experts about some cool stuff." You just gave me a 2 to 3 minute, really detailed answer and deep why as to why you're doing this, and even more on the accountability side for you. Because like, if you weren't doing this show, who's holding you accountable to learning from experts, to learning new subjects, and to being your best at all these different fields that you're trying to be great at? And the same for me as well too. If I didn't have a coach when I initially started out, and if I didn't have a close circle of people around me that were holding me accountable to my goals and what I was doing, how can I ask the other people and other clients of mine to do the same if I didn't do it myself? So that's why I post a picture of my watch every single day when I wake up and I start getting after it. That's what holds me accountable on social media each and every day, whether or not I want to get up and do it. Even if you're just going through the motions one day, get up and do it. I don't care if you could do, and I just started doing a push-up challenge as well too. And I tell people, I'm like, come in and do a set with me. If you could do one push-up, if you could do 100, I don't care if you're hurt and can't do a push-up, come do some squats. Whatever it is, just challenge yourself and be better.
Mhm.
I had never done 300 push-ups in a 30-minute span before in my life, and it pushed me physically more because I'm not an endurance type person. I'm more of just strength focused. And I did it on IG Live, and it was miserable physically for myself. But it was more so like, I want to challenge myself mentally. I've never done it before. I
Mhm.
want some cool cats to come join me on this journey as well, and let's push each other together.
Wow. Wow. That's great. That's awesome. That's awesome, Derek. You know what? I have gained so much from this interview. I think that I know for a fact that everybody watching has as well. Tell us where we can find you. Where can we go to find your content? Where can we go to check out your services? What would somebody do if they say, "Hey, I really want to reach out to Derek. I want to talk to Derek. I want to take that next step and really become a more disciplined version of myself."
Absolutely. So on Facebook and Instagram, it's just at the Dmacc Method, and that's where you could find my daily inspiration, motivation, self-discipline content there as well too. And then on my website, just www.thedmaccmethod.com, and then I'm sure I'll send over my links and everything, and contact information, email, phone number that you could put in the description here as well. But yeah, that's where you find all my main content. Strictly just put it on Facebook and Instagram right now, and then I have a link on there. You could sign up for my December accountability partner challenge. You could schedule a free 60-minute call with me to see if this is something that would work out for you. Because at the end of the day, I don't just charge people to talk to me. Like, if it's going to be something that works out and we both mutually agree that we could get something from this and make something special happen, fantastic. And if it's not a good fit, because at the end of the day, I only bring in 5 new individuals every month, because I'm not trying to make, like I said, run $1 billion enterprise. I am trying to impact a few lives every single month and really make some serious change in people's lives. And if you want to get after it, join. If you want to sit there and make excuses and feel sorry for yourself, don't bother reaching out, because you're going to be talking to the wrong guy. Because if you don't want to get
Right.
after, and if you don't want to be the best version of yourself, I'm not the coach for everybody. And I tell that people up front, if you're willing to work hard and you're willing to put out and you're willing to challenge yourself mentally as well too, I'm going to be the guy that helps you get there as well. If you're not, if you're already afraid of that challenge, don't bother setting up a call. There's going to be some other coaches that could probably stroke your ego a little bit better and help you out there. It's not me. And I'll tell people up front that it's
Oh,
not me.
I love the tough love,
Yeah.
man. You know what? And that's what you need from a disciplined
Yeah.
coach. Somebody who's going to coach you in this area is somebody who's going to give you that tough love that you need. Not like your mom, who's going to,
No.
coddle you and say, "Oh, it's okay." you
Yeah.
need somebody who's going to give it to you and tell you straight. And that's Derek. And he's going
Yeah.
to really help you get there and get where you need to go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And yes, all the links will be in the description below this video. So you can reach out to Derek if that's something you feel you need to do. I know I feel I need to do that because Derek's awesome. He's the man. And if I needed any help in this area, which I do and which everybody does, please reach out, get a coach, get somebody who's going to help you to become more disciplined in all the areas of your life. You will not regret it. I can promise you that. Derek, this was awesome. This was so cool. Really happy to have you on the show. I know I'm going to have you back on the show here very soon so we can talk about some more topics that I know that you're an expert in.
Absolutely. And Chad, I appreciate you having me and appreciate you putting me in front of all your views. And hopefully somebody got something of value out of this. At the end of the day, it's just a goal for me is impacting, a new person every single day. So if one person watches and they got something great out of it, I'm happy.
Awesome. Awesome, brother. Well, hey, everybody, go click the link in the description. Go check out Derek, and I will see you on episode number 4 coming up here soon.